Alright, what's up, guys? David here, and we have the EGL Season 4 draft review. With me are Shark and Alex. Say hello.
Hello.
Hey guys.
Hello.
And I guess a little bit about Season 4. We decided to do a GBA style system with different divisions, different conferences, and a point system instead of a tiering system for drafting. Do you guys want to talk about it a bit?
Well, I actually like this draft system a little bit more than what they do. Yeah, I think that it just lends itself more towards a competitive. I think, in that you can build a team how you want it, not how the tiers make you. So you can draft like a RU pick first round if you want. I think that just allows you to build the team that you want to build.
Yeah, I think that's really cool about it. I do think that it tends to lend itself towards lower tier teams if you want to look at Smog and tiering. Just based on how the points work. But yeah, anyway, Shark and Alex here are from the Omega side of the conference, the Omega side of the league, and we're going to be looking at the North and South division of the Alpha Conference. So, without further ado, unless Shark has something to add, we could just jump right into the first team.
Finally, let's start.
Alright, cool. So first up we have the Athens Excelgors with S2.
Alright, so I'm going to take the lead on this one. I think S2 seems pretty interesting. I like his offensive core of Sharpedo and Infernape. They give interesting water, dark, and firefight coverage, which I like. I think that he drafted a lot of good wall breakers, but I don't think he drafted anything other than wall breakers. His support to his team is not very strong, in my opinion. His hazard removal only being really just Golbat, which, in my opinion, is okay, but you normally want a stronger hazard removal for a team that consists of things that are weak to rocks, like Staraptor and Yanmega. It definitely he's just lacking in that area, and I just think that he doesn't have great switch-ins into a lot of things. His Scald switching kind of non-existent, really. I think that he does have a lot of powerful attackers, which definitely is going to be interesting to watch. Just because if he plays his team right, he might not even need to worry about hazards, because he's just going to come in, either set up or attack using a really powerful Mon, and that's just how it's going to go. His defense is not that great. His best physically Pokemon, I guess there's
his only switch into literally everything is Golbat.
Yeah.
Sure, he has Electros, he has Whimsicott, he has Dragalge and Garchomp, but his switch into everything is Golbat. And it's also his Defogger. And when it's your Defogger, when you have mons like Infernape and Staraptor, who both kill themselves with their main attacks, and Yanmega that kills itself when it decides to show up to a battle.
Yeah, definitely lacking in that. He definitely would be helped by a strong Rapid Spinner for sure. If he had a good Rapid Spinner,
sure, that would be cool. But he went for Sharknado, which is a great OU core. It's one of my favorites, with Sharpedo Garchomp, and he has good leads. He has great suicide leads. He has great this. He has great that. But he doesn't have a switch in, and he needs switch-ins because a lot of his offense is walled by the same thing.
For sure. He's definitely lacking in a lot of things that a good team normally has.
What's up, Shark?
No fairy type. That's normally...
he has a Whimsy.
Whimsicott, yeah. He's all the way in the corner. Couldn't see him over there. Hiding
Steel
behind
type.
What's up, Shark?
No steel type.
Oh, no steel, yeah.
Yeah, that's important.
Mm-hmm. And
he doesn't have the Dragon Resist. Oh, wait, never mind. He has
Whimsicott, yeah. Don't worry. Everybody forgets. I
It's
think
hiding in the corner. You can't see it now.
I think another different thing, while something rumbles in the background,
The
uh,
wind tunnel.
uh, another different thing is he has stuff like Sharpedo and Infernape and like even like Yanmega and Whimsicott and Dragalge. Like they're all things that like if S2 had spikes or if he had like Baton Pass with some sort of sub or an SD boost or a Nasty Plot boost, then like this team becomes a whole lot different, becomes a whole lot scarier. But he doesn't have any of that strong utility, strong support to like help his wall breakers do their job.
Yeah. I would definitely say his biggest weakness is lack of switch-ins to a lot of things and just having a pretty one-dimensional team overall.
Mm-hmm. It's of the North Division teams, we'll be looking at the other three soon. This is probably my least favorite of the four.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a huge fan of this
We'll
team.
touch back on it later on.
Yeah.
But let's move on. We're cutting a little close.
Ooh, the DC Diglets, coached by Ryan. He seems very interesting. He has how many hazards? Setters. Celebi, Deante, Skarm, and Crook have rocks. Skarm and Chestnut have spikes. Defoggers. One Skarmory can defog, Mance can defog, and then there's Magic Bats. So hazard and hazard removal is not a problem for his team. Andy has like a lot of immunities. Skarm, immune to poison, then 2 water absorb Pokemon. Two electric immunities. Zap Zipper. Wow.
Yeah, it's like immunity to dragon, immunity to ground, immunity to hazards with Magic Guard.
Immunity to water.
Immunity to Shadow Ball and Sludge Bomb with Chestnut.
Yeah.
Like, his team is just really cool.
Yeah, Celebi to absorb status or Deance to just bounce them back.
He has a grass immunity and Bouffalant. He has a Boom Burst immunity.
Not from X-Cloud, of course, but...
Yeah, he has a Boom Burst immunity from X-Cloud. He has Soundproof.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's immune to Hyper Voice. He's immune to X-Cloud. He's immune to, like, so many things.
Yo, the Mega Gardevoir counter.
Mega Guardian counter, of course.
He has a lot of good abilities. Legal on Lightning.
That's fine. Yeah, but I really
he
like
has
this
Magic
team.
Guard. Let me just list the good abilities that he has. He has Magic Guard, Magic Bounce, Magic Cure, Intimidate, Moxie, of course. And then there's all the immune abilities. His team's just really good.
He has Double Intimidate. He has so many cool things.
Mm-hmm.
But
and he supported it pretty well offensively. Volcanion and Deance are both huge offensive threats as well as Salamence, which I think helps his team a lot.
The biggest we could praise this for like another 20 minutes, but
yeah,
the important things to know are that like his I don't know, like his sweepers are just kind of I don't know. It's weird.
His immediate offense are like wall breakers are like Deance, which is you have to unprotect and then you're limited in terms of your coverage because of the protect. Mance is really good.
Yeah, Mance is cool.
Incredible. Volcanion's amazing wall breaker because fire and water coverage is really good. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Bouffalant can hit hard, I guess.
Bouffalant hits hard, Crook can hit hard, like he has a lot of like scary stuff, but I don't know if there's something about this team that like I'm looking at it and like something seems off, but I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
All I know is I want to see him passing Nasty Plot to Deance, and I just want to see that sweep happen.
Screw that! I want to see a Nasty Plot pass to Volcanion.
Yeah.
God, send everything into another universe. Just
yeah. What's coming in on that Steam Eruption?
No, it's all about Nasty Pass. Nasty Pass and his Scarf, Jealous and Water Spout. We're just switching.
Don't sleep on that. Scarf Jelly's scary, man.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
And he drafted all the Water Absorb Mons, so we're left with nothing.
I'm a big fan of this team. I think that Ryan had a very good draft this time around.
I
It
think
all comes down to how
yeah,
he plays it.
it comes down to how he builds because all the mons are so versatile. He could really just mess up and bring like the wrong set. Like he could bring like Rocks Crook when he really needs Scarf Crook or something, or he could bring like defensive like bulky Chestnut when he really wants to bring like when like a belly drum Chestnut just wins or something like.
Yeah. Or like max defense, min speed, Diancie.
Yeah, that would not surprise me. But yeah,
And another thing, another tiny, it's a decent weakness on his team is bolt beam. You can hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can hit eight of his mons super effectively. Bolt beam.
yeah, Bolt Beam kind of just like beats him, but Bolt Beam kind of beats everybody.
No, but he doesn't have a single bolt beam resistance, does he? No.
No,
Is there
everything's kind of just weak to Bolt Beam in general.
Yeah.
Aside from Diancie, I don't think Rock takes ice super effectively.
No.
Diancie and Buffalo are the only things that.
His main defensive walls, Skarm, Jellicent, Chestnut, Volcania, maybe Celebi. They all lose to bolt beam. So if a sweeper wants to just sweep his team, set up bolt beam coverage, and then his walls just go down.
Yeah, but anyway, let's move on. And we have the Adelaide Honchcrows coached by Ben. Once again, Ben drafts a really cool team. I always like Ben's drafts. They're always really solid. Sometimes he plays well, sometimes he doesn't, but his drafts are always really good. He has a lot of really scary mons, and his Firewater Grass is kind of fun. It's really bulky. He has a cool fantasy core that's super scary and super fat. He has Mamoswine, Absol. He has Zam. Just a lot of really good stuff. I don't know. He has double Magic Guard.
That's pretty fun.
As well as Magic Bounce.
His team is magical.
Yeah, his team is just magical, man. He has 3 rockers in Mamoswine, Tyrantrum, and Clefable. Ideally, he doesn't want any of them in particular to have rocks, but it's going to come down to probably Mamoswine and Clefable most of the time. Which is unfortunate because that really limits Clefable in general, and it really limits Mamoswine. He has 1 Defog and 1 Spin, both of which are really reliable, so like hazards aren't a problem for him.
And Magic Bounce.
And of course Magic Bounce and 2 Magic Guards. Like he gives 0 shits about hazards.
Not important.
One issue with this team that I find is that outside of like Zam and Absol, it's actually kind of slow.
Yeah, I can agree with that for sure. I actually like his team. I think that I didn't even realize when he was drafting how good of a team that. I like all the mons. I think Clefable works pretty well with Absol in my opinion. They both like the Magic Guard, Magic Bounce is very cool. His setup mons are pretty nice. Clefable, obviously, Calm Mind setup is very good. Swords Dance from Absol, very, very threatening. His just offensive like wall breakers like Alakazam and like Entei, really good. I think he picked a pretty balanced team overall. I think he can run offense if he wants, but he could also run a team that could take more hits. I like his Selgor a lot. I think that with his team it does pretty well. Oh yeah, a Scavalier. I always mix those two up. But I also like you said, his Firewater Grass core is really cool. I think Blastoise, great hazard removal for sure. If hazards even get up, considering how good he is with Magic Bounce. Tyrantrum, if he needs that Dragon Dance, it's definitely there. His setup, like I said, his setup sweepers are very, very powerful. I think he drafted really well this season for sure. Similar to last season where he also drafted pretty well.
Does he have Trick Room support on his team? I don't think so.
I don't know if Clef gets it. I don't know if Clef gets it. I think Zam gets it, but why would you run it on Zam?
Yeah,
but like he doesn't really need Trick Room. Like that would only really benefit Scavalier.
Yeah.
But like his team's
True.
kind of slow, but like everything aside from a Scavalier that's slow has like really good priority. Like you have stab, sucker punch, stab, ice shard, stab, or not stab, but banded, e-speed.
Yeah.
Like,
He definitely did a good job this season.
Like I said, he always drafts well. It's just how he uses it that seems to be lacking. Hopefully he can improve that.
For sure.
He's had a lot of experience with this format, so he
gets better every season, so we can only hope that he continues to improve. Anything else we want to cover?
Good.
No, I think that's it. Just a solid team in general.
Yeah. Solid team. All right, moving on.
Okay, the Mexican Ludicolos with Andres. I like his team a lot.
This is the team Rescue should have drafted.
Yeah, if you want to look at a hyper offense, this is what you need. If you look in the top right, he has the stats. As you can see, his insanely high special attack and attack stats, as well as really good speed. I think that's just a testament to how good of a team that he drafted for hyper offense. He's got really good dedicated leads in like Cobalion or Archeops. He's got like Volt Turners. Like I know Cobalion and Raikou both get Volt Switch, and Archeops and Crobat get U-Turn, which allows him to get a switch into his wall breakers such as Alakazam, Mega Alakazam, which hits incredibly hard, as well as Weavile, which can Pursuit Trap and all this
By the way,
great stuff that he can do.
Meloetta gets U-Turn as well.
Yep, Meloetta. I actually haven't seen Meloetta use U-Turn, but that's pretty cool. And I just think that he drafted really well for what he was trying to do, and that is just overpower his opponent and always have momentum. And I think he's going to be able to be really successful this season with that. I like his hazard removal is pretty
Crobat
good.
And Archeops. And
Crobat and Archeops, which are both weak to rocks, which is an issue, but I think with hyper offense, it's a little bit less of an issue than, let's say, if he was like balanced, because he does have a decent amount of Pokemon that are weak to rocks, and Arcanine, Weavile, as well as his 2 Defoggers. But I think he did a pretty good job other than that in just almost every other category when it comes to hyper offense.
Look, I'm just saying, I'd be shocked if he brought hazard removal more than like 2 games.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever bringing defog. I don't think he ever needs to. I think his team's really... I think he can try to bring a balanced team if he really feels like the HO isn't going to work, but I don't think that would work out for him, is the problem.
Yeah, his team is very good.
All his mons except like Rhyperior are really fast. There's Zam, Weavile, Crobat, Archeops, Cobalion, which are just super fast Raikou. And then there's Arcanine with E-Speed plus decent speed, and then Gator can set up a Dragon Dance plus Aqua Jet. And Ludicolo in the rain super fast.
I think his team is really aggressive, really offensive, and the nice thing is some of his mons have the potential to be bulky, like Rhyperior, Ludicolo, Cobalion, Meloetta, and Arcanine Crobat are ones that come out.
Yep.
It's just I worry that his team's going to end up being like send in something, sack a mon, send in something, sack a mon. Like he's just going to trade mons all season. And while it might work, it might not. He could run into something that he can't break, and then that becomes a really big problem.
His team is kind of into priority, I would say. He's got
his team's frail. That's the issue. You get up rocks, he's not going to defog them, so they're there to stay. And then like
no sashes or anything.
You get something fast that like breaks through that like is some good priority, like a fake out or mock punch. And, like his team has the potential to crumble, but Andres plays well. He plays aggressive. He should be able to come through.
One thing I would love to. One thing I think he should have drafted was Excelgor, because that would give him bug type plus hazard stacking, so he could just set up spikes and then just suicide leap, and he can just keep putting on pressure.
Oh yeah, that would.
So nothing can defog at all.
Maybe that's something he could trade for later in the season.
He could probably pick up something later. But yeah, I think he. Well, the other people in his division, I think, shouldn't prove too big of an issue for him because he has like Weavile for Garchomp. He has, I don't. His team looks like it'll do fine compared to the rest of his division.
Yeah,
I can definitely see him being up there in his division come the end of the season.
Right, but like there could have been a drafted team that like he's just screwed, and maybe there is one. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but c'est la vie. Let's move on to the next team. Oh, it's me.
Look at that.
The Brooklyn Nets. David. Well, I never realized how blue like one half of the team is.
You know,
yeah.
I try.
But I think David wanted to go with Mega Lopunny and just pair some mons to break down walls, and Lopunny just clean it up. Pangoro, Nidoqueen, Latios and Lopunny. Latios, Lopunny, Pangoro is like a really good offensive core. And then he has a decent amount of support with Aromatisse. Gyarados for Intimidate, Toxic Spikes from Nidoqueen, Murkrow, of course, Prankster T-Wave. What else does he get? Prankster
Murkrow?
Feather Dance?
It gets Feather Dance, gets Parasong, gets Tailwind, gets Foul Play. It has 91 speed and 85 in both attacks, so it's not like completely unusable. Wow. It gets so many moves.
Plus, he has two water types, 2 ground types, 2 dark types. Yes, so a lot of pairs, which might seem bad, but if you put enough offensive pressure with those, then walls just crumble. And Lopunny's like one of the best megas in League format. I don't think it's just way too fast and it's really good. It's really hard with that neutral coverage. It just cleans up.
I just think David drafted a ton of very spammable Pokemon. Like, especially typing wise, fighting spam and dark spam are very, very good. And if you think something's going to take a hit from Pangoro, it's definitely not taking a hit from Pangoro and Lopunny. There's nothing that's going to take that kind of like fighting spam. Latios is an amazing Pokemon. Just dropping Dracos for days with that thing. Again, very spammable dragon moves. And I think that just allows you to break certain cores that maybe will be able to stop. Maybe there's a Pokemon that can stop Lopunny, but then it's not going to be able to take on Lopunny plus Pangoro or Pangoro plus something else. His team just hits really hard overall. Setup sweepers, I guess you could say Doublade and Gyarados are probably his best, although there's also Superior, which gets that free setup with...
nobody's talking about Superior, the real hidden gem here. Like, once
like
all my wall breakers kill everything, like, what stops Superior?
Yeah,
like the main
I like your team a lot, for sure.
Yeah, my team, I'm going to sound a little biased here, but I like my team a lot. It's really just offense and, like, bulky balance. There's a ton of mons that, like, can both be offensive and have a ton of utility. Nidoqueen, Gyarados, Seismitoad, like Doublade, Rotom Heat, like...
Yeah.
There's
Murkrow.
Murkrow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You think I'm not tailwinding a Pangoro? You're crazy.
Oh, damn.
Dude, still be slow, but how many kills do you think Murkrow's gonna get this season?
How many kills is Murkrow gonna get?
85 offensive stats.
Yeah, no, I think seeing it getting kills will be a possibility. It might not be at the top of my kill chart, but it'll definitely.
I can definitely see Pangoro being like up there for your kill chart.
Oh, absolutely.
How much of a threat it is.
Lopunny just like
the main course
cleans everything up.
The main thing I went for was Lopunny, Pangoro, and then things that went around them. So Pangoro plus Doublade is a really common, really popular Pangoro core, and it just works so well because one checks the other.
For sure, they cover each other's weaknesses pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you did that just pretty well overall for your team.
Yeah.
I think that there aren't too many glaring weaknesses. You have pretty good hazard removal in Latios. No rapid spinner, but and Murkrow for sure.
Rapid spin, Murkrow, amazing.
The only thing you're lacking is rapid spin, but
you
don't need it per se. The only way that you would ever really need it is if you just like hazard stack with Nidoqueen. But besides that, you don't really need it that much. But overall, you definitely have a very, very threatening team, and there's not many. Oh, Trick Room.
Whoa.
And there's not much switch-ins to everything that you have on your team.
No,
I could definitely see you having one of the best teams in your division for sure.
All right, let's move on to the Philadelphia Emboars. Hold on, I have to cough. Yeah, I got that on mic. Solid. All right, we have Hoods in the Philadelphia Emboars. He has a team. It's a bunch of bad things and a bunch of things that hit really hard. And main thing to notice, his only rocker is Excadrill.
Easy.
He has a spin blocker and a Defiant user, I believe. Yes. And he has 0 forms of hazards unless you count Drill. Now, is that bad? No. But his team's really fat and would really like hazards. So Drill might have to run hazards most of the weeks. Maybe he'll choose not to bring hazards. I know I'm not going to care. I'm not going to care at all about hazards against Hoods. I'm not going to bring any removal. But his team's super fat, and it's really scary. Like, he has Haxorus, Florges, Slowbro, Thundy, and, like, Volcarona is really terrifying setup sweepers. And then, like, he doesn't have to immediately Mega with Slowbro too, so he has a strong Regenerator core between Tangrowth and Slowbro.
Yeah.
It's the dual Regenerator core is weak to bug, but then everything else on his team is resistant to bug. They're fun. The one thing I don't like his team for like one reason, that I think he drafted Excadrill round 1. He traded spots with someone so he could get Excadrill, and he didn't draft Sand. Excadrill is one of the main reason why it's so good. It's because it just destroys everything in Sand. He doesn't have Sand, and the Excadrill on his team has it's just gonna set up rocks. It's just gonna land some hits. Not gonna be a sweeper.
I don't think Drill is. I don't think you need to draft Sand with Excadrill. It certainly would help a lot, considering that every Sand setter also sets up hazards.
Yep.
But I think if you look at this as a team built around Volcarona and not a team built around Drill, then you could kind of ignore the fact that he doesn't have Sand. Because it is a decently made team around Volcarona.
Yeah. The Drill's
you
one
have
of
a
the
ton
best.
of hazard removal, but
it seems
Drill
like
is
you go.
Drill is like one of the best, if not the best, spinner in the game. Starmie's a close second. I guess Starmie would be a better one because
it depends.
About recovery.
It's up to opinion. I think Drill's the best.
Yeah, so I kind of see it. I kind of see why he took extra round 1. He wants the spinner for Volcarona and Thunderous to sweep, but like, Sand would be so much better. Just the baby Hippo would be good.
It seems like he drafted like Fat Mons. Like if you like portioned it off so that it's like Slowbro, Florges, and like Tangrowth, like on one section, and then he drafts like crazy setup sweepers on the other section. It's just like they don't necessarily go together that well. I think he's got a lot of really good Pokemon. I don't think he's got amazing synergy, except maybe like his defensive core is really good and his offensive mons are really good. I don't know how well they all mesh together. I guess we'll see through his play throughout the season. He definitely has really threatening Pokemon for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Haxorus and Thunderous are so terrifying.
Terrifying, dude. I don't know. I just don't know. His team is weird.
Yeah. I was about to say his team is very strangely put together.
And like, he doesn't even have a problem with like Fat Waters because of Thundy. He doesn't have a problem with X because of Y. Like he has answers to things. It's just I don't know how he's gonna bring those answers in reliably.
Yeah, it should be fun watching him use this team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely a lot of setup sweeps with Volcarona, with Haxorus. Maybe even Slowbro will get a couple sweeps because Combine Slowbro is pretty threatening.
Oh no! This is Hoods we're talking about. It's all about
Slowbro. We didn't even mention he's the Heat Master.
Mm-hmm.
He brings the craziest sets. I'm definitely expecting physical Volcarona for sure.
I'll always monitor fully evolved.
Oh, true. I'm expecting Belly Drum Slowbro.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on before we devolve into coming up with SD Tangrowth sets for him. All right. Who's up next?
Want me to take this?
Yeah.
We got Mora with the Monterey Gyarados. I'm a huge fan of this team. He drafted. I think he just had like a little checklist with every Pokemon that he thought he needed, and I think he hit every single check mark really well.
No dragon.
I guess he left that one off at the bottom, but
yeah, that was at the bottom of the checklist there.
But for the most part, I think he did really well. He got his he got priority in Talonflame. He got spikes. He got stealth rocks. He got sticky webs, toxic spikes. He got his electric immunities. He got flying types, so ground immunities. Bulky water, which everybody needs. He got priority. I think I said that already, but he got his fairy type. He hit almost everything that he needed. Besides that, he has a spin. Everything that I think you kind of need for a team really to be successful. And I think I know he took after James's team from last season, and I think he improved upon it compared to how James was great last season. He made to the finals, but I think more for the way that the draft went this season, I think he improved upon it pretty well. I like how he doesn't have many repeating typings, and the ones that he does have repeating typings have different weaknesses, like Donphan and Piloswine. And I think that he just did so well at drafting this season. I'm very excited to see how he does, and I'm very nervous to face him because I think that he just has an amazing team.
One cool thing to note is his only hazard removal is Donphan, which isn't. It's kind of reliable, but it's not the most reliable. He does have 3 rockers. He has webs. He has spikes. All great things. He has 3 Defiant users in competitive Milotic, Bisharp, and Thundy, and Torn. Sorry, as well as having a spin blocker in Cofagrigus. So he's ready to keep his hazards on the board. But yeah, his team's super versatile. He has yeah.
I really think he should get a better hazard removal because it's not like Donphan's and Azelf. It's not going to taunt you so you can't set up rocks. What are his rockers? Donphan, Bisharp, sure, and then Piloswine or Klefki. They can set up hazards, but they're not going to stop the opponent from setting up hazards. And then the only way he can remove hazard is with the Donphan. Talonflame needs the hazards gone. Do its shot properly.
Yeah, plus, absolutely. That's keeping hazards off is going to be hard.
Yeah, and the dragon thing. Dragons are just dragon. We have the very steel core.
No, I like his double steel. I like his double fairy. I like Tornadus a lot. It has a lot of good moves. Hurricane. It's a Defiant user. It has Prankster. It has a whole bunch of fun stuff. But like Donphan being the only hazard removal, like I take it back. This is a genius play because Hoods doesn't have any hazards removal.
Oh.
Doesn't have any hazards. He played this for the division. He knew. He knew. No, but But
Yeah.
it's a solid team. He just has
Yeah.
to, much like Ryan, he has to bring the right stuff.
Hmm. I'm definitely scared of Sticky Webs plus Gardevoir. He's gonna run Modest every single time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You
No
lead
doubt
Sticky
about it.
Webs. You basically can't remove hazards because he has a spin blocker plus Defiant users. So you either lose to Gardevoir or you lose to Bisharp slash Tornadoes.
Or the very scary Scarf Milotic with competitive. That's a threat.
Oh yeah.
But
No, that's a serious remark. That is terrifying, dude.
the checklist thing we talked about. I mean, it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing since we know what most of the mons do. Galvantula we know it's gonna set up Sticky Web. We know Donphan's gonna set up Rocks and Spin. And Klefki's gonna have them stack. It's just like we know what everything does. And
I mean, that's when you could
build
be
around it.
You could be versatile. Like the mons themselves can do other things. Like Galvantula isn't just a Weber. Like it's good offensively. You can go AV Donphan, put Rocks on Piloswine. You can go CM Klefki. That thing wins games too if it's against the right team. Like
Yeah.
CM Dre.
No, CM. What is it? Flash Cannon or Dazzling Gleam or something. It's a cool set.
Draining Kiss, dude. Get the HP back.
That's the spirit. But yeah, his team's really solid. We didn't mention that he has T-Spikes on Kofag. And like,
Oh yeah.
he has a really good Pursuit Trappers. He has a whole bunch of cool stuff. Like, Virizion really versatile, but we're going a bit over time on him. So
he's a really good player, so I can see this team at the top.
I'm looking forward to battling him. He's in my group. So,
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, I think the last ones of the team.
Carolina Charizard, Vince. So his team evolved from the Carolina Charmeleons, which is cool. His team's pretty cool. He has Mega Altaria, Heatran. That's like that was someone else's core from last season, and it worked really well. So we drafted it. He also has Crest, which is you can't kill Crest at all. Hazards. He has 2 walkers, I believe. Heatran and Fortress.
Yep.
He has Fortress, which is a reliable spinner, and Flygon, Shindifog. He has a lot of utility mons. The Frostlass can set up spikes. Toxicroak. Scolipede can set up spikes. Fortress can set up spikes. Wow.
Yeah, he
A
has
lot of spikers.
He has the 3 main spikers of Pokemon in Frostlass, Scolipede, and Fortress. He has a ton of other utility mons, like Gourgeist, Furfrou, Cress, Rotom Wash to an extent, Flygon to an extent, Heatran to an extent. Yeah.
He basically drafted a bunch of utility to build around his cotton monster thing, the Altaria.
He has Altaria, Mienshao, and then a bunch of utility mons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his defenses are really good with Heatran, Fortress, Rotom. That's basically covering almost everything. Plus Cress and Gourgeist is just fat. And Furfrou, of course. The thing he lacks is offense. The hardest hitting thing is, what is it, Mienshao? I guess Altaria hits harder because it's a late.
Yeah. Mienshao and Altaria is the only real threats, unless you count like a random Scarf Flygon or Scarf Rotom or something, or Scarf Tran.
Yeah, Combine Crest can be scary, but don't.
Combine Crest is, you have to be prepared for Combine Crest, you have to be prepared for SD Scolipede, but like, his main threats are like Mienshao and Altaria.
He swept a lot with Combine Crest last season, so I think everyone's going to be prepared for that this time.
He definitely should have picked up like a Defiant user, because he has so much hazards. Everybody's going to be bringing hazard removal.
I mean, I feel like Mora got the monopoly on that one. I don't know.
Yeah, mostly in defog because he has spin blockers. He's got 2 spin blockers.
Like I'm telling you, like South Division, they just need to swap mons around. Like Vince could pass around some spikers, Mora could pass around some Defiant users, and like I'll pass around some rockers or something. Like, yeah,
We have some perfect teams, but not.
But alas.
We could do that at the end of the season, like inter-division competition.
But he definitely got a monopoly on all the hazard setters. But I don't think he supported his hazard setters as much as he could have. I definitely think he's going to run a lot of like Pokemon with Whirlwind and Roar, because he's got a bulky team, which is why I would say that that's a little bit more viable. Just because he can set up those hazards, and then
he only has Tran.
Yeah. Oh, it's only Tran.
I believe. I'm 90% sure it's only. It's only Tran or Altaria.
Roar Altaria.
Exactly.
With Pixelate. No.
But no, I'm expecting a lot of SD, Scolopedes, Life Orb, Frostlasses.
Dragon Dance Altaria.
Dragon Dance Altaria is going to be a thing that comes a lot. Like like Altarius is only speed increase, unless you count Icy Wind, Frostlass.
And speed boost.
But like, you're going to speed boost us. Like, what are you going to pass a speed boost to, though? That's the thing.
Eruption.
Crest.
It's either you're only gonna pass a speed boost to like Tran, Rotom Wash, or Altaria.
You pass it to Venusaur, then just HJK, Reckless, Banded, kill everything.
Right, but it doesn't even need the Scarf. It's 105. It's fast enough, man. Like
not against Andres.
That's very true. But at that point, you just stay with Scolipede and you kill everything anyway, because you're a Scolipede.
Oh yeah, he does kind of beat Andres' team.
Yeah, look.
Never mind. He has Cobalion and Arcanine.
Turn one, he sets up. Turn one, he clicks Iron Defense, and then he just sweeps with Life Orb. No,
I want to see that actually. That'd be great.
It's a cool team. It's just really lacking in notable threats.
Yeah. How can he fix his team? Just take some offense.
Even the Wall Breaker.
There's too many.
He needs some sort of setup sweeper. Like, I don't even know what he would really drop for it. Maybe Flygon. Maybe Frostlass. Yeah. But like Frostlass is useful. Maybe Gourgeist. Gourgeist seems kind of redundant aside from like a Spore switching.
Or Furfrou. I mean, I think he has Gourgeist for a spin blocker.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot he could do, but I don't know what. So, we'll move on to the next slide, which is final thoughts. So, let's look at the North Division first. If you had to rank it from best to worst or worst to best, how would you do it, Alex?
I would probably put...
Of course, let me preface this. This is opinion.
Yeah.
We're not saying we're not saying anybody's bad or anybody's this or that.
Yeah, of course not.
This is just looking at the mons without looking at the players themselves.
My favorite team in North Division is probably Andres' team. Compared to his the people that are also in his division, then Ryan, then I think Ben, then Estu. Not saying that any of the teams are particularly bad per se, but I think Andres, when dealing with the other people in his league, I think he's gonna have a really good, like an easier time than maybe Estu, who might have a more difficult matchup against someone like Ryan or Andres. And I just think that Andres definitely drafted what I think to be the best team for how he's going to play. I think he's very well suited for hyper offense, and he drafted the perfect team for that. I think we're definitely gonna be seeing a lot of sacking mons, like you said, but I think it's gonna come out on top in the end.
What about you, Shark?
It's really close to what Alex said. Andres is definitely the best one. I mean, compared to they're all good teams, but Andres just has slightly better teams than the rest. It's because he had a plan when he went in. He's like, okay, hyper offense, and then some hazards, and that's what he got. It's gonna be hard to stop. I think Andres has the best one in North. Second, I would probably say Ben, because I think he just has a lot of good mods. Absol is really good in League. Clefable, Mamo, all of them can just do stuff. And then Ryan's a close third. I just don't like I don't know. I just like Ben's team better than Ryan, and then Ryan and East2.
That's interesting because S2 is of course also, in my opinion, the worst of the four. It's actually, in my opinion, probably the worst of the 8. But
Yeah.
I don't know. But in first place for me, it would probably be Ryan. His team's really solid, as you guys have said. It's great. It's something I would draft. It's something I would use. It has a lot of really cool things. And then my second would actually be Ben, for the same reasons Shark said. It's a really solid team, and like, if I look at Andres' team, I could find stuff that I would be like, I would replace this with this to improve it. When I look at Ben's team, I'm like, all the mons are just really solid. I wouldn't really want to replace any of them. And that's why Ben's in second and Andres is in third. But it's really close between second and third, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I think that it was a pretty strong league draft-wise overall. At least
North was definitely very strong.
Yeah, it's very strong. Yeah.
Let's go on to South. We'll start with Shark first this time.
Ooh, all right. South, Mora has the best team, no questions asked. He just has every single role in his team that he wants. Spike hazard stacking with a spin blocker, defiant user, a wall breaker, and a clean and town flame. That's tough to beat. And then David has the second best team, I would say, with the Glow Bunny, Latios, Pangoro offense. Surf is there. And then utility with Aromatisse and Seismitoad. Third. The third place is tough. Can I just call it a tie? Call it a tie.
Call it a tie? All right.
Yeah.
The tie, no winner? All right, Alex, here we go.
All right. I think I would put David's team as number 1. I really like the spam that he goes for with the fighting spam. Also, I love Pangoro as a pick, especially paired with Doublade. I think that Latios is a great pick as well. I just think that you have so many threats that I don't think anybody else in your league can handle that well, or your division. And I think that's why your team, I think it beats almost everybody else's team in the division. Close second would be Mora. I think he also drafted extremely well. I think his team might be a little bit more well constructed than Davis' team, but I think that Davis' team is just better built for his division. Third, I would put Hoods. I think that he drafted a lot of really good Pokemon, and I like that. I like that he drafted a ton of setup sweepers, which should be fun to watch. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And Vince didn't draft a bad team at all. I just don't think that he has enough threats for it to be as good as some of the other teams in the division, because every other team in that division has huge hard-hitting threats, and I think that Vince is lacking that.
And I guess I'm going to not count myself, because that would be a little biased, because I'm obviously the best, and I'm number 1.
Very true.
But of the 3, I think it's definitely Mora is best of the 3. He has a really solid draft, like everybody said. It's really cool. And then for me, it's a lot more clear-cut. I would put Vince above Hoods. And I like Vince's team. I'm not the biggest fan of Mega Altaria, as people will say. But it's a really well-built team around like his sweepers. He doesn't have many sweepers, but they're there and they do things. Whereas Hoods, like, his team has a lot of good Pokemon, but he doesn't have the support for it. It's the exact opposite of Vince. Like, Vince has so much support for his sweepers, whereas Hoods has one rock setter that is also trying to be a sweeper. Like if he had like a second or third rock setter or like spikes or something, then his team would be fantastic, but it doesn't, and that's why it's 100% last of the 4.
All right.
That covers. Do you guys want to do a top 3 of the whole conference, or?
Yeah, I'm down for that. Yeah.
All right, go for it. What are your top 3 of the whole conference?
Sure,
Keep it short.
take this.
You can start.
All right. I think my favorite, I would probably put Andre's number 1, then David, then it's tough. Mora and Ryan are very, very close for me. I think they both drafted really, really good teams. I would probably put Mora's team, there's just an inch ahead of Ryan's. I think it's a little bit more well constructed. I think that would be like my top 3.
And Shark.
Mine would be more David and Andres.
Cool.
For
Well,
the reasons we stated before.
Well, like I said before, I like Andres' team a little bit less than Ben's, so mine's actually going to be Ryan, Mora, and Ben's. And not counting mine, of course, because mine's the best. But
it's definitely Vince.
Ryan, Mora, and Ben.
Wow.
Yeah, the Absol team over the Altaria team.
All right.
But yeah, that looks like it's everything. We're looking at about 50-something minutes. That was the Alpha Conference. We will have the Omega Conference with 2 other people. I know one of them's Ryan. Who knows who the other one will be, but the other
Vince
speaker...
is online.
Vince is online. We might be able to do it with Vince then. So we might get that today. That would be cool. So yeah, we're going to have 2 people from the Alpha Conference come and review Omega, just like we had the 2 Omegas come and review Alpha. So I guess right after this, I'm going to go shit talk Alex and Shark's team. Have a good day, guys.
I was going to ask if I could join.
Say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.